we would love to hear from you about these two images that you're highlighting today. Tell us about these fantastic shots.
So I chose these two because they're basically the same subject matter. They're big waves, surfing, but they're two completely different perspectives. That wave there, that shot there is called a reef walker for obvious reasons. It's a reef here in Kauai with a big, beautiful wave, and a surfer is tucked up in there. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a drone perspective, so it's straight up and down, and you really get to appreciate how beautiful the reefs are and what it's like to be a surfer on these waves, and basically those water. That's what the surfer's seeing too. He's on something that is so clear that it's
beautiful.
At times difficult to even focus where the wave is, or you're on the wave and a fish goes by and you're just like, wow, it's so fascinating. I had a guy come in. It was really funny. He was a super interesting guy, but he came in the gallery and it was the end of a long shift and definitely heading towards closing time. And when you see people come in the door at about that time, it's always something you want to see is that they're passing through quickly. They're taking in the gallery, but they're kind of in and out. And this guy, I could tell, was going to be a long time in the gallery. He would go to every print. He would get about 3 inches from the print, and he would stare at each print for a few minutes. And I, of course, leaned down and like, kill me. What is going on here? And so he stared at that print for a while, and he came up to me and he said, "Do you know what I see in that print?" I'm like, I have no clue what I see in that print. And he said, "I see a pirate ship." I'm like, okay, I'm glad you see a pirate ship. And now I can't not see a pirate ship in that.
Right.
So when you look at the whitewater, if you'll zoom in on just the whitewater, there's this beautiful pirate ship with the surfer being the front of the ship.
Yeah.
But it's now something that I can't see past it.
That's
so
all
cool.
I
see now when I look at that. So it's so amazing, especially when
cool.
you see them big and basically that overall perspective like that with all the thing. It's amazing. So I thank him every time he comes in. Now, every time he walks in, I ask him, what else does he see? Because I looked at that print for years and never saw that. And I realized I need to broaden my horizons a little bit.
Yeah.
And then the other shot is from the famous Waimea Bay on the north shore of Oahu. It's shot from up the coast a little bit with a long telephoto. Just a really interesting perspective on that. And Waimea is, during the winter, gets crazy massive swells, and it's one of the last places on earth not been touched since basically surfing was really introduced or invented in Hawaii. They don't use any motorized anything on Waimea waves, so if you're going to surf Waimea, you have to get giant boards and paddle into it like it's been done now for 100 years. Most of the breaks now around the world will use jet ski assist, where they tow people in. And it kind of, it's still crazy, insane to watch, but it's, it just isn't, to me, all that natural, once you start introducing machinery into, these big, beautiful waves. But that is one of the last places on earth, just out of pure respect from the surfing community, to basically leave it untouched and natural and basically as it always has been. So that's one of the reasons I captured Waimea. I'm always fascinated with guys that, have the guts to paddle into a 40-foot wave and survive it. I'm more fascinated with their ability to survive it than to surf it. That really was why I picked those two images, just because you can see a completely different perspective from shooting from the shore or shooting from straight up and down. And it's kind of what we do, when you get to a place that basically you want to slow down, look at everything, come up with, the ideal way to shoot it for the day, because it's always changing and it can be completely different. But beautiful image. Love it.
Yeah, I love this image. For me, from the first time I saw it, and I'm not a surfer, but it just evokes such a classic feel to me. This image, you could have shot this in 1950 or recently. It just, it somehow eludes the sense of time. You know, it's just, it could be anywhere, anytime. And it captures almost the wildness and fun of surfing. Like, I look at all those guys on the wave and I just think, how cool. Look at those three guys surfing together right next to each other. Like, that's just, and those other guys going out and swimming over the swell. It just has such a playful but timeless feeling that's, to me, just captures everything that's cool about surfing. Maybe it's the type of boards they're using. I don't know what it is, but it really does look like it could be. Right, because they're not those really flashy short boards with all the logos on them. It looks like it's more long boards or something. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know much about
giant. They call them guns, and that is the same type of boards that they used in the 50s.
Okay,
60s,
no wonder.
70s.
Yeah,
because you need the volume, you need the giant boards to pick up the speed, enough speed to get into the wave. The short boards would never get you into the wave, and that's why they introduced jet skis so that they could use much shorter, more high performance boards. But that's funny that you see that, and because I wasn't understand it.
I was sort of talking myself through why it felt so classic. And that must be something, I was noticing. And I'm not seeing it really big at the moment, but to the detail in the people and just the way that, like, look, and their stance, like, it's so classic. I just love it. Yeah. Love it. Just a great shot. Good job.
And it's one of the only waves, because of that, with that classic approach, is one of the only ways that you'll ever see multiple surfers on a wave. Like, that is the epitome of disrespect, is when you take off. Basically, that inside surfer would have the right of way, and everybody else taking off on the wave would be just disrespecting his ride. But YMA is different. YMA, it's almost a straight type of a ride.
Because they're going straight down instead of, But I love that.
It's like, not really
it has a sense of community and camaraderie. That's the word I was looking for. That you don't get in other surf pictures, like you just said. You know, there's this thing with surfing, like, get off my wave. But this, I love that feel. It's super cool.
Like, these guys, once all three of these rode this wave and get down to the bottom, would be high-fiving each other, and congratulating each other. Where in any other place in the world, they'd be screaming at each other. There'd probably be a fight on the beach. But that is what YMA is about. It's really just the art of surfing and the classic.
Beautiful.
You know.
And I also love you're seeing the whole circle of the experience, the surf experience. So these guys actively on it, these guys getting ready to go up, these guys hanging out. So it's really definitely, like you're saying, a community experience here, all in one shot, which I think is unusual. Usually we see people peppered in the wave just hanging out, but these are all actively in the stages of the surf experience.
Yep.
Because that is what attracts me to YMA, because straight up the beach is a whole different group of waves on the North Shore of Oahu.
Pipeline and
it is
other ones.
Completely different, super competitive. It's all about yourself. It's about fights on the beach. It's about anger, and YMA is just that. It just brings, and even when you see the guys on the beach about to paddle out, that's fascinating. You know, it's fascinating to see these massive boards, 3 or 4 guys standing on the beach talking with each other, excited to go out, because there's no two ways about it. That is a dangerous wave, and that wave will kill you. And you know, all the guys that are on there are legitimate watermen. Most of them are wearing vests that have compressed air in them, that when they get held down beyond their limits, they basically pull the cord and get taken to the top, which will still kill you. You know, so there's nothing but respect for everybody that's out there, and they respect each other, and they keep an eye on each other. And the things you can't see would be the group of people inside, basically there to, there's usually 3 or 4 lifeguards on jet skis in there to try to pull people out of,
in case,
super dangerous areas. So it's it's a whole community effort. It's awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait to visit again. I'll have a whole new respect and understanding of that wave just by looking at your photo and analyzing it here. I learned so much today. It just opened up a whole new world and understanding and appreciation for it. And like that, I was drawn to, I've always been drawn to this photo as opposed to some of your other surf photos. And I didn't really know why. I couldn't I didn't really think that deeply about it until we started talking about it. So now it's like, I love that. Very fun.
And it would be fun to see if a photographer shot this in the 1950s from the same perspective. You would pretty much think nothing has changed. It's that is what I love about that shot. It's pretty timeless. It's classic. It's timeless, but it was shot recently. It's
just beautiful.
But those are the reasons.
Awesome.
I also love the layers in this photograph. There's so much happening. It's not just the wave and maybe the sand. You've got this fascinating foreground that, to me, I'm not a surfer, so it makes me a little bit more nervous because it looks very precarious, very dangerous. The way you got this stacked, it looks like they're going to crash into these rocks. So for me, this is a very interesting foreground with so much happening on its own. And then you've got the middle layer of all of this community of the surfers and the surf life experience. And then all the way in the back, you've got this you've got the shore and the trees and even a whole different layer of interest. So it's one of those images you can get lost in and always find something new.
Yeah, the North Shore of Oahu during a winter swell is something that everybody should see. It's just fascinating. You get, I think it's however many miles of beach over there, 17 miles or 11 miles. That is just fascinating. Just watching people putting their lives on the line, because you get anywhere near that and you're like crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
In fact, we have this one in the Kauai gallery actually on a surfboard. It's awesome.
Oh, wow.
On one of Robert's surfboards inlaid in it. So it's awesome.
Wow.
Guys,
and why don't we have that in the Ventura gallery?
On a surfboard that you can hang and roll. You have them, but you sell them so fast that we
sold
keep
them too. But I want this image on a surfboard up on our wall in Ventura, because this is just any surfer anywhere, and even non-surfer can appreciate this. It's beautiful.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today with another Latitude Story series. We look forward to sharing some more of our favorite images and the behind-the-scenes stories with you again soon. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Aloha.